Hey, you know me. I'm the guy that's usually sitting around in Paneras like I am right now. Cheers. Taking up free bandwidth, uh, squatting while other paying customers are enjoying their lunch. Um, since the confessions are all over with, let's get into this week's video. I want you to look at your schedule over the last 90 days. I want you to think about all of the appointments that you've made, people who've come to meet with you when you've called the appointment. I want you to write PS over every appointment of the last 90 days where the meeting was about problem solving. Something in programming, something in ministry, some counseling situation, but the point of the meeting was problem solving. So think through your last 90 days, PS on all those appointments. Next, I want you to think about all of the appointments that were about program development. You were planning the message, you were planning the which way the worship and the bulletin should go, or you were solving how the youth trip would go. Anything that was about programming, program development. PD over all of those appointments. Now lastly, I want you to put PB over every appointment that you called and the purpose of which was the building up of another person. If you're like most leaders, the PBs are fewer over the last 90 days than all the problem solving and the programming sort of meetings that got called. And most folks are not happy with the ratio between the three. Hopefully after the end of this session, you're going to have the capacity to be setting more appointments that are about people building than problem solving and programming, and maybe even reframing what the programming and problem solving meetings are all about, or having other people taking those appointments off of your calendar and you signing up the next 90 days for a different kind of calendar where there's more PBs than those other kinds of appointments. So I want you to take the next 90-day challenge coming out of this appointment. I've written a little paper for you. It's about a 7-page little thing that I call The Mentor Within You. It's some thinking that I'm doing. Maybe this could be the introduction or first chapter of a book. I'm open to your feedback on that. But I've written it to you for some conversation. That'll give you some sense of the spirit of what I am after inside of this module. This is stuff from my heart to your heart. LSI, some of you have the question of, how do I do this kind of stuff? What should I do? I've provided the leadership skills inventory as a great conversation piece between you and a mentor or you and a possible mentee. Everybody can take an inventory and determine where they're at. There's 56 items on this thing. And the reason I like this inventory a lot is the last column asks, not only do you have these skills or competencies, but do you have them in such a way that you can pass them on to others? And I think that's the deal breaker as relates to being a people developer, that you are conscious competent as to what works and what works for you and how you can pass it on to another person. As a lot of folks say, you really know it once you've taught it. The next thing I want to say about the PowerPoint presentation is it's written in the context of a crisis of connection in our culture. Just the fact that I'm posting this on YouTube, and it's a 2.0 world where people are relating online or having community but really not connecting, is kind of a subtext to a kind of world that our parents may have grown up in, a more agrarian world, a world that had more of a gilding approach to forming people and helping them become profitable for society, for their families, these kinds of things. So a crisis of connection, you'll see some of these themes about bowling alone and kind of the loneliness and brokenness that sets us up for wanting mentors or people who can help us get what we may not have gotten inside of homes, broken communities. A few statements about some of the other priorities inside of that PowerPoint. One statement is mentoring is his method. You'll see a whole conversation about the Old Testament and New Testament where these connectional relationships were central to salvation history. Mentoring is a method. A point I'd like to really emphasize is mentoring is not the point. It's merely a method through which many different kind of messages can go through, and we can have some fun in our conversations around that. But mentoring also has methods. And looking at Gunter Krallman's work, Mentoring for Mission, as well as Gary Collins' work, Christian coaching, you'll see that there's actual methodologies, things that you can do step by step to engage in fierce conversations, improving and being an improving influence in people's lives. And I guess that's what I want to bring it down to. At its core, mentoring is a fierce conversation. It's an on-purpose conversation. It's a designed conversation that's about the other person. It's not about your agenda. It's not problem-solving or programming. It's about their agenda. So we have to decenter ourselves to even begin playing with the idea that we are going to engage in a mentoring lifestyle. Matthew 10, verse 39 is maybe a good place of some meditation, that if we keep our lives, we lose our lives, but if we release our lives, we get to keep our lives. I'm going to be posting several video links that kind of fill out some of the practicalities of doing mentoring, including some more experiments in writing around this topic. So as I put some things out there, feel free to express your opinions about the writing. Once again, this stuff is first draft quality writing. I'm not trying to consider these published papers, and I'm kind of an high P on the Myers-Briggs, so I'm not interested in trying to get the jots and the tittles right. A couple in the class said, hey man, we'd be willing to help you with some of the editing, so I appreciate any kind of insights you have on this. Maybe this could become a useful tool to some pastoral leaders and ministry leaders. Okay, that's it for orientation to the PowerPoint in Module 2. By the way, I put my mentoring survey as well as coaching covenant in the PowerPoint presentation and the course resources if you find those things useful or as models for you. The mentoring survey is a process, a data collection process that I'm doing right now. I've collected 540 of these. If you'd like to participate or even pass this around in your community and let me get the results, great. But it's not, you're not obligated, but I include it inside of the presentation. Okay, until next time, bye.